It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over each and every one of the 9 cards added in the new Play Same Phase set that did get released in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM today. Now, it's important to know a couple of things, okay? The first thing I want to note is each and every one of these cards we're going to talk about today, you guys can get for absolutely free, okay? They are going to be in the agendas, so you guys can grind them out to add to your collection. Now, I was super high on Marcus Smart last night. I was hyping him up, gassing him, all for him to not have point guard eligibility. So the card that I was highest on yesterday in kind of my initial breakdown video probably won't actually be as good. But we're going to be going over talking about each and every one of these cards as we dive into Max Strus here to start stuff off. If you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button on the road towards 120,000 subscribers. For Max Strus, 6'5", 6'6" wingspan, hotspots from both corners, 10 total badges, 1 badge on gold. I mean, that's all fine for being, early on in my team. Big thing for me, 84 3-ball. And Max Strus, I feel like has a decent jump shot. From what I've seen him play now, I think it's at least decent enough. But when you look at Max Strus, look at how bad he is defensively. Like, yes, offensively, really solid shooting the ball. His defense is absolutely horrible. And I just encourage you guys, compare him to Mike Miller. Mike Miller absolutely just blows Max Strus out of the water. That's kind of the problem I have with Strus. Strus is going to be solid for, a shooting guard, and he's going to be okay. But that's the big issue I see. Kristaps up next, 7'3", 7'6" wingspan. Now, the problem I see with Kristaps, let's start with the speed. Okay, 25 speed. Now, why is that an issue? Well, I mean, that's barely better than the other Kristaps. When you compare these cards, is he just the Emerald KP? Basically. What's really the difference here? Nothing. Okay, when I look at these cards, they're basically identical. The only difference is going to be the badges and no cold zones. That's really it for Kristaps Porzingis. So if you use the other Emerald KP, if you use the Series 1 KP, you know what kind of this KP is going to give you on the court. Now, when you look at his badges, like, yes, there are some better badges in there. I'll give you credit. But the fact that his 3-ball is exactly the same, the fact that his speed is still a 25 overall is just sad to me. Now, again, I know a lot of people are probably going to agree with me on this. There's no reason that this Kristaps should be this bad in my team. You might as well just pick up the Series 1 card. Now, again, if you're just starting my team, the Emerald KP, this KP is not going to be a bad center. You basically get him for free. But it just doesn't sit right with me. The fact that he's basically the same as the Series 1 Kristaps Porzingis in general. Eric Gordon up next. I've shot around with Eric Gordon in play now. I'm not the biggest fan of him. 6'3", 6'9" wingspan. Good hot spots, 83 3-ball, decent speed, decent lateral quickness. Like, the card isn't that bad. But again, with what I've seen and what I've seen in like shoot around and stuff, I just think the card's going to leave a little bit to be desired. Only 6'3", Eric Gordon release isn't great. I think Max Strus is going to be better than Eric Gordon. Now, again, a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but that's kind of what makes these types of videos fun. I just don't see it with Eric Gordon. Grant Williams up next. Power forward, small forward, 6'6", 6'9" wingspan. Now, I've not shot with Grant Williams yet this year. I do know last year's release kind of was broken. So if his release is broken again this year, don't expect Grant Williams to be that great. Now, let's say he has a better release. He could be okay. Decent 3-ball. If you look at his speed, lateral quickness, it's fine. Playmaking-wise, I mean, bronze break starter is not great, but, I've seen worse playmaking badges for a guy like Grant Williams. And my whole thing is, shooting-wise is fine, and he's fine defensively. If you have those two things, you can at least compete on the court. But again, I'm really concerned about that Grant Williams release just because of last year, right? Maybe I'm scarred from last year, but when I would use the Celtics in play now, man, trust me, that release, I don't even want to say not great. That release was bad, okay? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat things. That release was bad, and he's only 6'6". Not a big fan of Grant Williams. Jordan Poole up next, 6'4", 6'6" wingspan. Decent 3-ball, decent speed. 82 3-ball, 84 speed. The problem with Jordan Poole is going to be the defense. I mean, 6'4", shooting guard with that bad a defense. I feel like his player model is not going to be good either. Again, another card I don't really see it with. I'm not saying that he's necessarily awful, but I just don't see it with. No limitless, defensively, no badges. Release-wise, JP based on normal, okay. Dame dribble style, I mean, okay. We're just gonna have to wait and see for Jordan Poole. He's gonna be one he's gonna have to show me, because I told you in yesterday's video, okay, when I initially broke down these cards, that I wasn't super high on it. And nothing's changed from that moment, okay? He's exactly what I thought he would be. If he could play the point guard position, probably would be higher on him. No point guard eligibility hurts the card in general. Marcus Smart. Yeah, okay, the card I was most hyped up about today can't even play point guard. How does that make sense? I guess maybe 2K's thinking, oh, he's playing by Ja this year, so, I mean, he's not even going to play point guard. But my whole thing is this, Ja's out for however many games. You don't think Marcus Smart's going to be the starting point guard during that time for the Grizzlies? You're wrong, because this card would be absolutely elite if he could play the point guard position. I'd go as far as to saying he'd be better than Jason Kidd if he could play the point guard position. The problem is he can't play the point guard position. So instead of comparing Marcus Smart to Jason Kidd, you're now comparing Marcus Smart to TyDeBo. You're now comparing him to, even if you want to, compare him to budget cards, this Sapphire Mike Miller. And I just don't know. Obviously, they're different cards, but I don't know if I'd rather have him than Sapphire Mike Miller. Now, again, those are things that you will have to kind of just wait and see. But it's just sad to me. Why are they making a Marcus Smart card not have point guard eligibility when the card would be absolutely fantastic defensively, offensively? His release is good too. The card's still going to be good, don't get it twisted. But if he had point guard eligibility, he would be absolutely elite in my team. Dillon Brooks up next. Here's what I'm going to say about Dillon Brooks, okay? 6'6", 6'6" wingspan. 3-ball being a 77 actually isn't bad. And when you guys are probably like, what, Ty? That's not very high. It's really not bad at all. D Brooks, you know what you're getting. Great defensively. He's basically a Marcus Smart that's just a little bit taller, a little bit wider. And that's why I think Dillon Brooks is actually going to be decent at that shooting guard position. He's taller, wider than Marcus Smart. And I think that's going to help him out. Now, release-wise, again, I haven't played a ton with Dillon Brooks yet this year, so it's just going to have to be a wait-and-see type of thing. But I do not mind Dillon Brooks at all in my team. John Collins up next, 73 ball, 71 speed. Bad defensively. This card stinks. I don't mind Dillon Brooks. I think Dillon Brooks is okay. When it comes down to John Collins, he stinks. Am I surprised? Not necessarily surprised because, I mean, again, when was the last time we saw a really good John Collins card? It's been a while. So, again, 6'9", 6'11" wingspan. I know we don't have many good centers in my team. John Collins, he's a stretch big, but he absolutely stinks. CP3 up last, 83 3-ball, 80 speed, 88 lateral quickness. Badge-wise, CP3 is fantastic. He is outstanding when looking at his badges. The problem is the Chris Paul release isn't great, okay? And the reason that's kind of such a big deal right now is because, I mean, that's kind of what people need if they're going to be a small guard. You look at Kyrie Irving. He's got a good, decent release, and he's obviously one of the best 300s in the game. What is CP3 really going to be doing for you on the court? Like, you can say, oh, Ty, but he's decent defensively. Well, yeah, but he's 6 feet tall. So is he really decent defensively or no? I mean, he is going to get absolutely killed defensively because of that height. So am I high on CP3? Honestly, not really. I mean, I'm really not. We're going to have to wait and see for CP3 in general. So this is kind of a big letdown, right? Because last Tuesday, we saw these cards in which Cam Whitmore was elite, Jabari Smith Jr. elite, even Jordan Walsh was elite. Today, this Tuesday, we see this drop. And I mean, Marcus Smart's going to be decent, but no point guard eligibility. Dillon Brooks is going to be okay. He's not even going to be as good as a guy like Cam Whitmore was last week. And I'd go as far as saying, I bet Jordan Walsh of last week is better than anybody we see today. That's going to wrap it up for my video today, guys. Ultimately, if you're a budget guy, all these cards are going to be free. KP is probably going to be a pretty easy grind for a center. Beginning center, not the worst. Marcus Smart, I still do think is going to be really good. And then there's Dillon Brooks. John Collins, Chris Paul. They're going to be bona fide scrubs in my team. Let me know your thoughts on these cards down below in the comments. To me, a big letdown after what we did see last Tuesday. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.